This is the real Tom Rose, and this is a pretty challenging exponents problem. They're asking us to basically use every exponent rule in the book, including scientific notation, exponent by exponent, etc. So let's start messing around. So the first thing I notice is that I've got a fraction exponent, which is going to be annoying. I also have a large decimal here. And the answer choices have none of that. They don't have fractions in the exponent. They don't have any decimals. So, there are some decimals, but there's no decimal like smaller than 1. So what we need to do is we need to fix both of those things. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of that weird decimal. And let's do scientific notation for this. So I'm going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to the right. And anytime you do that, you need to compensate by moving, so multiplying by a power of 10 with that same number of hops. So I went 4 hops to the right, so I need to compensate with a -4 exponent. Right, so if the number that I picked and how I did that was confusing to you, look up scientific notation. And that's how you apply that there. All of that is multiplied to the -3/4 power. Let's put that to the side for a moment. And now let's figure out how we're going to go to the next step on this. So let's actually let's take this power and let's actually split that up. I'm actually going to split this into 81 times 10, because I want to make this easier to handle. 10 to the -4. I'm actually going to say this is all to the 1/4 power, which is all to the -3rd power. So it's totally fine for me to do that, right? Remember that if you have an exponent to an exponent, you just multiply them. So 1/4 times -3, that's -3/4. So that would totally work out. So what I did was legal here. But what I did was I created a more palatable inner expression here. This one is easier to handle now. And the way that you do this is if you have 81 times 10 to the 4, then you have this power, you can distribute that power. So get another exponent rule. So this is 81 to the 1/4 power times 10 to the -4 to the 1/4 power. All of that to the -3rd power. Okay, now 81 to the 1/4, you can plug that into the calculator if you're not sure. That's just there's a numerical answer to that, but it happens to be 3. So this is a perfect fourth. So 3 squared is 9, 9 times 9 is 81. So this is just 3. 10 to the -4 to the 1/4 power. Remember, we multiply exponents if an exponent is raised to an exponent. So -4 times 1/4 just becomes 10 to the -1. So that's 3 times 10 to the -1 to the -3. And I'm going to, there's several ways you could attack this. I'm going to distribute this exponent first. So let's call this 3 to the -3 times 10 to the -1 to the -3. So -1 times -3 is just 10 to the 3, right? So this is equal to, let's see, 3 cubed. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So you can think of this as 1/27 times 1,000. Which equals 1,000 over 27, which is your answer. So that was a tricky exponent problem. If you got all the way through that, and you understand everything that we just did, you're basically set for exponents. That's basically every exponent rule that there is. So congrats.